Most people think gardening is a waiting game. You plant something in the ground, cross your fingers, and if everything goes right, you have a harvest ready sometimes in the summer or fall. And for some crops, yeah, that's the deal. But there's a whole category of plants that completely breaks this rule. These 10 crops go from seed to plate in 60 days or less. And if you're here in the Southeast like me, you have a window to grow right now, like right now, to start these and be harvesting before the summer heat even shows up. So let me show you exactly what to plant. I'm Mylan Turner, and this is my gardening channel, ATL Grow. I'm an urban gardener growing in containers and raised beds here at my home in Atlanta, Georgia. I grow in gardening zone 8A. Whether you grow in Atlanta, Birmingham, Charlotte, or anywhere else across the Southeast, this is your gardening community. So every single season, no matter what I'm growing, I always carve out some space to grow some fast crops. They keep the garden productive. And honestly, there's nothing like getting a harvest in under 2 months to keep you motivated while you're still learning. Today, I'm breaking down 10 of my favorite fast crops. I'll tell you the days to harvest, how to grow them, and some mistakes to avoid on the way so that you don't waste any time. I've grouped them into 3 categories so it's easy to figure out where to start. So whether you've got big raised beds or containers on the patio, there's something here for you to grow. Let's get into it. I'm saving this crop for last because it's going to surprise a lot of people. All right, we're starting with what I call the fast crops. These are crops that almost feel like cheating. Fast germination, fast harvest, they're genuinely hard to mess up. If you've never grown anything from seed before, this is where I tell you to start. Radishes are basically the cheat code in the garden. Radishes are the one crop that I always recommend to beginners that are a little hesitant to start from seed. 25 days, that's it. You go from seed to harvest in under a month. Now, one thing beginners can get wrong with radishes is trying to start them indoors. Don't do that. They don't like being transplanted. That actually slows them down. Instead, direct sow them in your raised bed or container. Plant them about 1 inch deep and 1 or 2 inches apart. If multiple seeds sprout, thin them to about 2 inches in between each plant. One thing radishes really need is consistent moisture. If the soil dries out, you end up with hot, woody radishes that nobody wants to eat. And then people think they don't like radishes, when it's really the plant just got stressed out while growing. And here's a bonus tip. Radishes make great companion crops. If you're planting carrots or something else that's slow germinating, you can plant radishes nearby in the same row. They sprout really quickly and will be ready to harvest before the carrots need the rest of that space. One mistake beginners make is waiting too long to harvest their radishes. Once they crack or start to flower, the flavor can turn really sharp and bitter. Harvest them on time. They'll tell you when they're ready when the roots start to push up through the soil. In less than a month, you'll be pulling your radishes out of the ground. And I promise, no matter how many times you do it, that feeling never gets old. Arugula is one of the most underrated fast crops in the garden. It's peppery, nutritious, and it grows fast. Once you start to grow it at home, it's really hard going back to those pre-washed containers from the grocery store. Arugula is flexible. You can start it indoors or you can direct sow. Both work, but if you're direct sowing, gently scatter the seeds over the soil and then lightly cover them, because arugula actually needs some light to germinate. Another thing that I like about growing arugula is that it's a cut and come again crop, so you don't pull the whole plant to harvest. If you just cut the outer leaves, it'll continue to put out new growth. One planting can feed you for several weeks, and then follow that by succession sowing every 2 to 3 weeks or so to keep a continuous harvest going. Now here in Atlanta, arugula has a pretty small growing window because it bolts in the heat. Once our temps start to be consistently in the 80s, arugula is done. So get it in the ground now if you want some for this spring. One thing that you want to avoid is waiting for the leaves to get too big. The baby greens are the best. They're more tender and less bitter. So if you plant now, in about 5 weeks, you'll have fresh arugula for salads, sandwiches, and pastas. It's a really versatile crop that goes on a lot once you start growing it. Once you grow your own lettuce, buying bags at the grocery store starts to feel a little ridiculous. When you can walk outdoors, cut exactly what you need, exactly when you need it, there's no going back. If you're growing for speed, stick with loose leaf varieties. These are ready to harvest in 45 to 55 days. The heading types like iceberg take much longer to grow, and they aren't worth it when you're looking for a quick harvest. So loose leaf lettuce is what you want. You can start lettuce seeds in trays for transplants, or direct sow them out in the garden. Scatter the seeds over the surface of the soil and then gently cover them. Keep the soil consistently moist until germination. Lettuce grows well in partial shade, so if you have an area that doesn't get full sun all day, lettuce is a good fit there. Here in Atlanta, we have a good window to grow lettuce, but it's not unlimited. We probably have about 6 weeks in the spring before the heat makes it bolt. So the sooner you get it in the ground, the earlier you'll be ready to harvest. Don't start your lettuce too late in the spring. Lettuce is a cool season crop. If you plant it when it's already warm, it's going to bolt and you won't get much out of it. Plus, it'll be extremely bitter. Cut and come again varieties give you multiple harvests. They'll allow you to snip leaves all spring. Chapter 2. I'm calling these the surprising producers. These aren't the crops that people are going to normally think of as fast, but all three of them can make it from seed to your table in under 60 days. And honestly, they punch way above their weight class and what you get out of them. Bush beans seem like they should take longer, but 55 days from seed to harvest is completely realistic. And like radishes, beans do not like to be transplanted. Direct sow only. Plant them about an inch and 4 to 6 inches apart. What I really like about growing beans beyond the harvest is that they fix the nitrogen in the soil. So while they're growing, they're actually improving the soil for whatever you plant after them. That's a win for small space gardeners like me. And because this green blaze variety is a bush version, they don't require any staking or trellising. They stay compact. They work great in containers or raised beds, and they won't take over your garden space. Something you want to watch out for is overwatering, especially right after germination. Once the sprouts are up, let the soil dry out just a little bit in between waterings. Too much moisture at this stage can cause your seedlings to rot. One planting of bush beans can give you a full week of fresh beans. And they also freeze well if you get more than you can eat while they're still fresh. With beets, you get 2 crops in one, the roots and the greens. That makes them one of the most productive crops that you can grow in a small space. The greens are actually ready much faster than the roots. In around 30 days, you can start to harvest the baby greens while the roots are still continuing to grow. Based off of what I've seen, you can take about 30% of the leaves as it grows. One thing to note, beet seeds are actually a cluster of seeds. So you may get multiple sprouts from each seed that you plant. If you want bigger beets, you will need to thin them out as they start to sprout. Thin them down to one plant every 3 to 4 inches. Otherwise, the beet roots won't have room to fill out properly. You can start beets indoors about 4 weeks before your last frost, or you can direct sow them out in your raised beds or containers. Either way works. Beets are also pretty cold tolerant, which extends our growing window here in the Southeast. A light frost won't hurt them as they're growing, and it may even improve their flavor. When growing beets, don't skip the thinning step. It goes wrong to pull out perfectly healthy seedlings. But crowded beets will stay small and they may be misshapen. Thin them out and you'll get bigger, fuller roots. When it comes to harvesting, you can roast the roots and you can saute the greens. That's 2 dishes from one crop. And that's really hard to beat when it comes to small space efficiency. Turnips can get a bit of a bad reputation, but they're one of the most efficient crops that you can grow. They grow fast, they're frost tolerant, and the greens taste just as good as the roots. Turnips are a southern garden staple for a reason. They thrive in the cool but unpredictable spring conditions that we have here in Atlanta. When planting, direct sow them about a 1/2 inch deep and then thin them out every 4 to 6 inches. They grow well in containers too. You just want your containers to be at least 8 inches deep. One thing that I was excited to learn is that turnips get sweeter after a frost. So I'd rather grow them in fall, but a spring crop is still really tasty. And if we get a late spring cold snap, these won't be harmed. You can harvest baby greens while the roots develop, and then harvest the roots once they get to about 2 to 3 inches in size. That's the sweet spot. Smaller turnips are tender and milder in flavor. The bigger turnips are the ones that can get tough and bitter. But even then, I find that preparing them in a pressure cooker can alleviate that. So don't waste those harvests. Remember, don't let your turnip roots get too large. This is one of the main reasons that many people think they don't like eating turnips. Turnips are a spring staple for a reason. They're fast, productive, and do exactly what we need in a short spring growing season. Group 3 is what I call the container-friendly stars. These give you fast harvest in a small footprint. These are ones that I reach for specifically when I'm growing in containers or I'm trying to fill space in my raised garden beds. If you're growing on a balcony or a small patio, this group is especially for you. Once you start growing green onions at home, you'll wonder why you ever bought them from the store, especially if you spend a couple dollars on a bunch that goes limp after only 2 or 3 days. You can grow these from seed, or you can use one of my favorite shortcuts. You can take the root ends of store-bought green onions and plant those in soil, and they'll regrow. It's almost too easy. If you're starting from seed, sow them about a 1/4 inch deep. Multi-sow a pinch of seeds every 2 to 3 inches. In about 50 to 60 days, you can start to harvest your green onions once they reach the thickness of about a pencil. A 6-inch container of soil is all you really need to get a continuous supply of green onions. Keep a pot of these near your kitchen door and you'll always have fresh green onions on hand. Just avoid pulling the whole plant. Cut your green onions just above the roots. Leave the base in the soil and they'll continue to regrow. You'll get multiple harvests from one planting before they finally give out. Green onions are great on everything. This is one of the most practical crops that you can grow in a small space. Spinach is one of those crops that actually wants the cool, unpredictable spring weather that we get here in Atlanta. It typically grows best in fall, but we do have a small window that we can grow it here in early spring. You can direct sow spinach or start it indoors 4 to 6 weeks before your last frost. Sow it about a ½ inch deep, and then thin one plant to every 3 to 4 inches. Spinach like consistently moist, well-drained soil, which is one of the reasons it does really well in raised beds and containers. Good drainage with consistent moisture is pretty much what raised beds were designed for. Now here's how we fit spinach in that spring window. Once our temperatures are consistently in the high 70s, spinach starts to bolt. So this is a crop you want to get in the ground this week, not next month. Avoid planting it too late. I've made the mistake, and I see this in other gardens every year. People wait to plant until late April and then wonder why they don't get a good harvest. Get it started now and you can start to harvest baby greens in about 30 days, or you can let it keep growing and get full-size greens at 50 days. It's your choice. Either way, this is one of the most nutritious crops that you're going to get out of your garden this spring. If you've never grown bok choy before, you're missing out on one of the easiest brassicas that you can grow. It's one of the most useful crops that you can have in your kitchen. You can start bok choy indoors about 4 weeks before your last frost. Or you can direct sow outdoors now that our temps have started to warm up. You can space your plants about 6 to 9 inches apart. If you're growing baby varieties like this toy choy, you can actually plant them a little tighter. Bok choy grows really well in containers. It's great in stir fries and soups, and it can handle cooler temps like everything else that I've discussed in this group. Harvest bok choy by cutting it at the base when it's mature. Clean, simple, and easy as could be. When growing bok choy, avoid inconsistent watering. Here in Atlanta, I'll be honest, bok choy will bolt if I even look at it wrong. It bolts prematurely if it gets stressed from heat or dry soil. Keep it consistently moist and this will be an easy crop for you to grow. Baby bok choy varieties can be ready to harvest in about 30 days, making this one of the fastest brassicas that you can grow. And it's super versatile in the kitchen, making it one of my favorites. Remember when I said one crop was going to surprise you? Well, this is it. It's basil. Start basil from seed indoors and it'll be ready to harvest in about 60 days. Now basil is a warm weather crop. That's why it needs to be started indoors. It needs warm soil to germinate, generally around 70 degrees. If you're growing in a colder room or a basement, a heat mat will help if you have one. Do not transplant it outdoors until nighttime temps are consistently above 50 to 55 degrees. Cold stunts basil plants hard. Put it out too early and it'll sit there looking sad, and you'll lose a week or two of growth. Once your basil plant is established outdoors, harvest it often to keep it bushy. Trim it above a leaf node and it'll continue to grow and branch out. Also, pinch off the flower buds once they start to appear. I know it feels like you're cutting off the growth, but flowering signals to the plant to stop producing new leaves. By pinching the flowers, we're telling our basil plants to keep growing all summer. An 8 to 12 inch pot is great for growing basil. You can start to harvest basil leaves around the 50-day mark, and it'll continue to produce all summer. Just be careful to avoid moving your plant outdoors before it's warm enough. Be patient with basil. It'll reward you once the conditions are right. Fresh basil from your home garden is one of those things that just makes cooking feel different. Once you have it outside, you're going to use it all the time. Okay, there you go. 10 crops to harvest in 60 days or less. And look, you don't have to plant all 10. Pick 2 or 3, just get something in the ground this week. I'm actually going to be growing all 10 this season, so if you want to follow along, hit subscribe and I'll post updates along the way. I'm going to be documenting the whole process and showing what works and what doesn't here in Zone 8A. If you're growing in Atlanta or anywhere else across the Southeast, drop a comment below and let me know where you're growing. And if you want to see what else I've planted this month, check out this video.